One of the main requirements of the ISPS code is the need for a ship security plan. This is a document that states the detailed procedures for the prevention and response to security threats, including different procedures for different security levels. According to SOLAS and the US Maritime Security Bill, a ship security plan must be available on all ships of at least 500 gross tonnage engaged on international voyages, including high-speed crafts and mobile offshore drilling units. The plan will include a list of restricted areas which are classed as spaces that are essential to the operation, control, or safety of the ship. Typical restricted areas are the bridge, the cargo control room, the engine control room, the engine room, and spaces with access to potable water tanks, pumps, or manifolds. Restricted areas may vary from ship to ship, and it is important to remember that their number and nature depends upon the current security level. This is set by the port state and indicates what security measures should be taken. There are 3 defined security levels used to communicate the extent of the threat present in a port. Security Level 1 is defined as normal risk. This means that minimum appropriate security measures must be maintained at all times. Security Level 2 is defined as increasing risk. This means that appropriate additional security measures must be maintained for a period of time as a result of the increasing risk of a security incident. Security Level 3 is defined as incident imminent. This means that further specific security measures must be maintained for a period of time when a security incident is probable or imminent, although it may not be possible to identify the specific target. Before entering a port, the ship security officer must communicate with the port to find out which security level is applicable. As a ship can never have a lower security level than the port facility, a declaration of security is needed when they are at different security levels. Often in the form of a checklist, the declaration of security is an agreement reached between a ship and either a port facility or another ship with which it interfaces. It specifies the security measures that each will implement and is checked by the ship security officer in cooperation with the local port facility security officer. It also indicates whether a ship and a port facility are operating at the same security level and requires procedures for dealing with any inconsistencies. For ships that frequently call at the same port, a declaration of security for each call is not required if the ship and port have an agreement that all security measures have been taken before arrival. On board ships, certain operations are more vulnerable to hostile attacks than others. These are called key shipboard operations and include cargo and storing operations, navigation, machinery operation and steering control, and crew and passenger safety. The ship security plan must include responses for all possible threats to the security of a ship, including damage to the ship or port facility caused by explosive devices, arson, sabotage, or vandalism. Other threats include hijacking or seizure of the ship or people on board, tampering with cargo, essential ship equipment or systems, or ship stores, unauthorized access or use, including presence of stowaways, and smuggling weapons or equipment, including weapons of mass destruction. Further threats include using the ship to carry people or equipment intending to cause a security incident, use of the ship itself as a means to cause damage or destruction, and attacks at sea or from seaward whilst at berth or at anchor. In line with these possible threats, the ship security plan must include procedures and responses. These may include repelling boarders or responding to the detection of stowaways or intruders, addressing a malfunction of onboard security equipment, and screening the underwater hull or searching the ship in response to bomb threats. securing all access to the ship to prevent intrusion, performing emergency shutdown of main engine to prevent unauthorized operation, securing non-critical operations to focus attention on response, and alerting ship and shoreside authorities of an incident. It may also include rendering assistance to a nearby ship undergoing an unlawful act that threatens its security. Lastly, the ship security plan will probably specify the method of communication to use in the event of a security breach, an unlawful act, or an emergency. This will outline the process to follow when coordinating with port response procedures. Security officers are responsible for maintaining, developing, and implementing procedures in the ship security plan. First, let's look at the company security officer. This is the person located ashore in the shipping company office who has the responsibility for developing, maintaining, and enforcing the ship security plan. Their role is to advise on what threats may be encountered by using appropriate security assessments and other relevant information. They also ensure that the ship security assessments and annual reassessments are carried out, and that the ship security plan is developed and maintained, so that it satisfies the security requirements of the individual ship. If sister ship or fleet security plans are used, they ensure the plan reflects the ship's specific information accurately. It is also the responsibility of the company security officer to strengthen security awareness and vigilance, whilst ensuring adequate training for the personnel responsible for the security of the ship. They coordinate with the ship security officer and designated representative of the waterfront facility to ensure there is consistency between security and safety requirements. Lastly, they make sure that any alternative or equivalent arrangements approved for a particular ship or group of ships are implemented and maintained. It is left to each company to establish their own policy when it comes to giving a person the role of ship security officer. The role itself includes responsibility for the security of the ship, including the implementation, maintenance, and supervision of the ship security plan. Their duties include performing regular security inspections of the ship, proposing modifications to the ship security plan, and enhancing security awareness and vigilance on board, ensuring that adequate training has been provided to ship's personnel. The ship security officer will also ensure that all equipment associated with the security of the ship is properly operated, tested, calibrated, and maintained. They will also review and complete a declaration of security checklist when required. The last officer to consider is the port facility security officer. This is the person appointed ashore who has the responsibility for the development, implementation, revision, and maintenance of the port facility security plan. Responsible for liaising with the ship and company security officers, as well as local authorities, the port facility security officer is the facility equivalent of the ship security officer.